It's Angel Vane, and this is episode 89 of my author's diary. And can I just say that I am thrilled. I am sitting here on February 20th, and I'm actually able to do this author diary video. Of course, I live in Tomball, Texas, where the winter storm wreck-shocked on us this whole past week. And earlier in the week, I wasn't even sure if I was even going to have power to even do any type of video or anything like that. But I do. I have power. Yay! So, I'm Angel Vane. I am an author of crime thrillers for women. And every week, I take you through the ups and downs that I go through as I try to write and publish new books. So, don't forget to click subscribe or follow me if you haven't done so already. So, I had to take a moment here to just kind of recap the winter storm, and it is a tale of survival and escape for me. The days are a blur this week. They're just a complete blur, and it's interesting because I've gone through so many hurricanes living in the on the Gulf Coast, and literally this past week evoked all those same stressors and anxiety and all those emotions that we go through for a hurricane. Like, we went through this for a winter storm, but I didn't feel anywhere near as prepared as I do for a hurricane because we're just not cut out for cold. We're not cut out for how to deal with this mess. And to be freezing in your house and you see the temperatures keep going lower and lower and lower and lower, and you're like, oh my gosh, why is it 45 degrees in my house, right? And so we're not cut out for that kind of stuff. And so it really is just, yeah, I have no words for how much stress I was under this week, and just this constant flow of anxiety just kind of existing in my body. And even right now, I have no appetite. I feel like my stomach hurts. My stomach has been hurting for the past 4 days. And I know it's just because of the anxiety and the anxiousness. When is this going to be over? And I really think, today, sun is out. The outlook for next week is fantastic. We get back to our 70 degrees. And I really think that hopefully my body can settle down and stop this, fight or flight type of response. It's just kind of it's locked in it. It's really locked in it right now. So to recap my experience, and then I'll tell you how I survived and how writing, actually being an author and having my novel writing plan really helped me to manage this week and to have something else to focus on that wasn't the winter storm. Really helped to get me through. So, we knew this was coming. Sunday night, went to sleep, knew we had to prepare. They were like, the worst is coming Monday. Felt trepidation because I was like, oh. Because normally, when they say stuff like this, it just kind of peters off. It's not nearly as bad as what they say it's going to be. But this time it wasn't petering out. And so I woke up Monday morning to no power. And from everything that I can tell, my power had gone off at around 2 o'clock in the morning, but I had no power. So I looked out the window, and let me show you what I saw. This. So this is my backyard, and literally it was so much snow on the ground. And we get snow in Houston occasionally, but it's literally half inch of snow, right? Barely covering the grass. This is like Calgary snow, and if you look at the video, you can see that it's currently snowing as I'm doing this video. The snow flurries are in the air. So this was Monday morning, and I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful, right? But I'm not fooled. I'm not, I know what snow does, right? Because I lived on the East Coast. I go to Canada all the time for work. I know that's the initial snowfall, and it's really pretty and stuff like that. But yeah. In about 24 hours, it's going to be dirty, nasty looking slush, right? So, but again, it's oh, this was so beautiful. Little did I know what we had in store for us later on, right? So, yeah, so I guess that's enough of the backyard. Monday at around 2:30-ish, I actually got power back. And so my power was only out for about 12 hours at that point. And waking hours for me was probably from 8 to 2:30. So not that bad. But again, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't work. I had no Wi-Fi. Trying to work on just a cell phone, nothing was working, right? And so that's when I really said, okay, turn to your escape, think about your story. You have a holiday novella to write for Julian and Mina. And I really just started saying, okay, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna plot out my story. And I just worked on that, and the time, I promise y'all, the time was passing slow, like molasses slow. Like I would do a whole bunch of stuff. I look at the clock, and then I do a bunch of stuff, and I look at the clock, and I swear like only 2 minutes had passed, like going like so molasses slow. And so yeah, so I started, I said, okay, well, let me just throw myself into something that I could focus on, something I could do that can take my mind off of. I don't have no power, and I don't know when my power is coming back on. But like I said, I was one of the lucky ones, so I didn't lose power for an extended period. It was only about 12 hours. My house got really cold in those 12 hours. Then we knew that the temperature was going to drop to the hard freeze Monday night. I had family come over because I had power. They did not have power, and we didn't want them in their houses without power. So now I had roommates, right? So then we made it through Tuesday night. We made it through Monday night, got to Tuesday, and then the stories of the burst pipes started to happen. And so then you're starting like, okay. So then we got through Tuesday night, and then all of a sudden, like, it wasn't just stories on the news. Like, I'm getting texts from people I work with and from people on my team and my friends and stuff. And it's just like burst pipes are everywhere. Burst pipes are everywhere. Then my family goes to check on their houses on Wednesday. And guess what? Burst pipes, burst pipes. So they cannot even live in their house. They have to come back and stay with me. So I'm going to have roommates for an extended time period. Who knows how long. It's fun to kind of have people in the house. It's like, oh, I have people in the house. But it's like, it's an adjustment. Like I have to get used to having people living upstairs when I'm used to just being here all by myself. So it's like it's damage and stuff, and then I started having pipe issues. My house is still livable, but I still have to get a plumber out here to fix the pipe issues at my house. And it's just, yeah. So then by, at that time, now you're just like panicked, and you're just like, okay. So we made it through Wednesday night, and then so Thursday you're like, okay, but hard freeze on Thursday night, hard freeze on Friday night. And I'm just like, oh God, like now I got extra people in my house because I have power and I have the livable home here. And I can't, like, we got 2 more nights that we have to get through without there being some type of damage to the pipes in my house. Like, cause I already had some damage to mine, but not like a pipe bursting. But like, I'm like, okay, I gotta make it through 2 more nights, and I hope and pray that like pipes don't burst in my house. And so, we're watching the news and they're like, look, turn the water off to your house. Because if there's no water in your pipes, there's nothing to freeze and nothing to bust the pipes. I'm like, why didn't y'all tell us this up front? All they had told us was, turn on your faucet, let it drip at night because that'll stop, and open up all your cabinets so that the pipe can feel the heat. Didn't nobody tell me to turn off the water valve that brings the water into my house. And so then I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do because I got to protect these pipes. I got, me and other people in my house. Yeah. Where's my water valve to turn off the water to come to my house? Like, could not find it. Looking all outside, looking all inside. Like, could not find the valve. Had to do YouTube videos. Then finally did some news shows, and they were like, oh, sometimes it's in your garage. And so I walk out in my garage, and there it is. Red little lever that, boop, you just pull it out, boop, you put it up. So Thursday night, turned off the water. Turned it back on after it was above freezing temperatures. And then Friday night did the same thing, turned off the water, turned it back on this morning when the temperatures were above freezing, and made it through. No extra pipe damage to the house. And yeah, I survived! Oh my God! Like, this was insanity. Pure insanity. All that snow, and I mean, like, literally, the snow that fell at my house on Monday did not finally completely melt away until yesterday, until Friday. That's how cold it was. I live in Houston. Well, Tomball, but you know what I mean. And I'm like, we should not be dealing with this. We should not be dealing with this. Our average temperatures in February are like between 65 and 70 as a high. Not even breaking, 32 degrees, right? So, yeah, it was a lot to go through. But again, what else can happen? Like, we thought we left all of this mess and this foolishness in 2020, and 2021 has been bonkers too. Like, it's just bonkers. But I will say that I actually learned a lot about my writing process as I was dealing with not having power. And again, like Tuesday and Wednesday, they were doing rolling blackouts, right? So I would have power for like 3 or 4 hours and then no power for 3 or 4 hours. So it's like, and you just never knew. You were like, okay, well, last time it came on after 4 hours, how long is it gonna, after being out for 4 hours, how long is it gonna be out this time? And so that's anxiety, because it's the not knowing that just like eats you up inside, right? And so during those time periods, I was like, okay, focus on your story. Because like I'm handwriting stuff. I'm handwriting, okay? Because I'm not using the electronics. I'm trying to save that stuff, trying to save the cell phone batteries for emergencies. And so I learned that, okay, so I thought that the holiday novella was I thought it was going to be a novella, and that because it was only 30,000 words, I would only need 1 week to plot and outline. Yeah, no. There is no way, even for a novella, that I can plot that in 1 week. And like have all of my scenes, like, because I do like many paragraphs for each scene. There's no way that I could go through Dream Zone, create the story, and document each scene in 1 week. Like, that's just like, that's bonkers, right? So now I'm like, okay, if the winter storm had not happened, if it had not happened, and this had been a normal week this past week, I do think that I could have gotten it done in 2 weeks. I'm not there yet because, again, I was working on it, but for the most part I was distracted, right? So I'm behind. I am behind. Because so you're just sitting there just kind of like, but are we okay? Like, what's going to happen next? Like, and you just have this anxiety. And it was so, like, I went through these moments, and again, it reminds me of when we have hurricanes, because you go through these moments where it's kind of like, trying to focus and trying to do anything is like impossible. Like, you're literally just almost sitting there, almost catatonic, just kind of like, because your brain can't process stuff. So I had a lot of those moments. But at this point, I feel really good about the story. I have the initial, all the scenes documented. It is not going to be a novella. It will be a mid-length book. It'll probably be around 50,000, 55,000 words. But I still need to go back through it and clean up some stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that I need to research because I want to do some new stuff. And the thing that came up too is I had to stop as I was writing out, the scenes and stuff. And I left all these kind of questions and things I have to go back and fill in, because I had to solidify the timeline of Julian and Mina's past. I needed to know Julian's past before even the Accidental Hero started, to know when was he a Navy SEAL? How long was he a Navy SEAL? When did, what was Broman doing at that time? What was like, so all of this stuff and all of Mina's background. Okay, Mina, what was she doing? When did she get married to Michael? Like, all that stuff that was just fuzzy in my head, because it was like, oh, it just happened before my book started. Like, because the holiday book is going to bring a lot of that stuff back in. The timing of when that stuff occurred and how long ago it was, I really need to sit down and really nail it down and document it somewhere so that it's not changing. And so I spent a lot of time this week as I was power on, power off, power on, power off, working on that timeline and really solidifying, okay, here's the timeline. Here are when all these people interacted. Here's when these relationships happened. Here's when this happened. And so I really have a good background timeline. So now that as I write more books involving these characters, I have a one-stop shop to go back to and say, okay, this is the basically Julian and Mina background Bible that I need to make sure that I adhere to. So that was a good accomplishment, that I was able to kind of work out that timeline too, and really heavy into trying to finish off the outlining for that holiday book. And some kind of way, my amazing editor was able to get me comments back on the last book in the series, The Unexpected Hero. So I will be talking about that next week. And now I'm off to continue to do the stuff that I need to do to mitigate damages from the winter storm. So if you want to continue to keep up with me and all the ups and downs that I go through as I try to write and publish new books, click the subscribe button. Then don't forget to click that little silver bell so you won't miss when I do a video. And I will see you next time.